As we come back to the four questions for The Shape of Things by Neil LaBute, number one is easy. It's a play, it's a tragedy. Neil LaBute is the playwright, and the year it was written was 2000. Originally, it was a play that was produced on the London stage. Later, it was adapted into the film that we saw, or the NYU performance that we saw. Neil LaBute's an interesting character. He has been writing a lot of stuff about sort of the underside. He's got a great play called Fat, and he has The Shape of Things. He's really interested in some challenging parts of human behavior, or as he says, some of the distortions and problems of contemporary culture. But I think by now those what's there issues are pretty questioned. If we had just a bumper sticker, what is it? Well, it's a story about a romance and a huge deception. It's a story about a romance and the destruction of a person. That's what makes it tragic. And it's also an exploration about contemporary American values and morality and the limits that we have. It's about change. What is it okay? I mean, it sort of asks a really fundamental question. Is it okay to change to be in a relationship? I mean, most of us who are in relationships would say that we have changed. We've learned to put the toilet seat down, or to, in my case, clean the dishes, don't leave dishes in the sink, all kinds of day-to-day household things. When you share an environment with your partner, you clean up your act. At least I had to clean up my act. Some of us have to learn we accommodate our partners, our roommates. We accommodate, and we have this little dance of revision. Some of us become more active. Some of us change our eating habits. Most of those things are usually okay. It happens, but what are the limits? How much is it okay to ask somebody to change? And how much are you willing to change to accommodate your partner, to be in relationship, to give 50-50? I mean, it's an interesting question, and it's a question that everybody who wants to be part of a duo has to, or I should say, or a polyamorous trio. Everybody has to sort of encounters this issue about demanding change of our partners and freely, generously shifting our own habits and ways of being. That's one of the great themes of this play. Now, I think that's a difficult question. That's one of the difficulties here. Adam changes a lot. He loses weight, he cleans up his fashion sense, he fixes his nose. He changes a lot in this play. And it's difficult, morally, it's difficult to see that as his appearance improves, his moral decisions, it disintegrates, or I would say it's not disintegrates, too hard a word. As his image improves, his behavior becomes, as Evelyn says, questionable. And that's a really kind of a strong comment. How much is our culture, how much are we, quote, obsessed with the shape of things, with the surface, with looks? And I think we are. I think we all want to look good. We want others to look good. We care about our appearances. We put a lot of energy there. And that's one of the great, California blonde beauty, Hollywood obsession with our looks and our outward appearance. And yet, we also have moral lives. We have actions. We have behavior. We have the integrity of our relationships. And those are inside things. Those are the measure of a woman, the measure of a man, by how she treats those around them. So, that's difficult issue about appearance and then about behavior of Adam. I think it's kind of difficult to understand what Evelyn finally did. She dissimulated. It's a fancy word. She lied. She misrepresented the contract. Adam thought this was real, but for Evelyn, this was make-believe, artificial. This was a construct. This was an experiment. Those understandings of the relationship are different. And one of the ways of describing the horror of this, it was deceptive, but one of the ways of describing or articulating the horror of this tale is that they were operating with different contracts, and different contracts about a really important thing. Adam thought all of this was real, was genuine. He thought it was real life. He thought it was historical reality, that Evelyn was who she was, historical, that the stories she told weren't stories, they were personal history. So that was his contract. I am falling in love. He misbehaved. You don't know exactly what he did with Philip's